Welcome, it's No Apologies on Beck, where we are unafraid to speak the truth. I am your host, Rick Becker, our co-host, Lori Hintz.
Hello there.
Lori Hintz.
Got a good show today. We do.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really produce bad shows, but that's just not in our repertoire.
But there are some really good ones.
Yeah, there's some
And
really
tonight's
good
going to be a really good
I
one.
think you're
We're
right.
going to go over one of Biden's cabinet members. We've got our good friend Scott Louser from Minot coming in. We're going to be talking about some interesting nullification things. It just goes on and on and on and on. You guys are going to have a tough time handling all of the good information. As we've said before, your IQ is about to go up.
That is
folks.
all true. He's not
Okay.
wrong. All right, we are starting with another one of cabinet members, the cabinet members of Biden, although this one actually is a cabinet member this time.
And we don't have any crazy videos like the
No, that was very popular. People were laughing and enjoyed that immensely last night. But this is a little bit different. This gentleman is the Attorney General, and his name is Merrick Garland. Now, Merrick Garland.
That sounds familiar.
You have heard his name before many, many times. The Democrats have desperately tried to get this guy a job for a really long time. And so they are very relieved now that they actually have this person in a position that they really wanted him to be a Supreme Court justice.
Right. So if you recall, in the final year of Obama's term, there was a vacancy in the Supreme Court. And
I think it was Scalia's vacancy when he passed away.
And so President Obama nominated Garland, but the Senate, controlled by Republicans, did not take it up. And it's interesting because we have a lot of information because there was a lot of looking into Merrick Garland. And so we've got all of this, which we normally wouldn't have, this detailed information for an Attorney General appointment.
Exactly.
But we have lots of background. So he's an interesting fellow, and he was positioned as a moderate for the Supreme Court back during the Obama administration.
Not a moderate.
And I think on a couple of things he's moderate, but no, I agree. For the overall picture, not a moderate. Again, with an overall picture, I think he will continue to fall in line with what seems to be a very politicized office with the Attorney General.
Agreed.
Very much so.
He is a native of Chicago, Illinois, and he has been, I'm just really trying not to say anymore. I know it's horrible. Married Lynn Rosenman in 1987. He has 2 children. He was nominated, of course, to fill that Antonin Scalia vacancy. The majority leader, McConnell, of course, let it just go by the wayside. That left a very bad taste in the mouth of Democrats. They were very, very mad about that.
Very.
They, I think, are still really, really mad about that because they honestly felt that he should be definitely a Supreme Court justice, too. He clerked for Supreme Court Justice William J. Brennan in 78 and 79, and was Special Assistant to Attorney General Benjamin Civiletti from 1979 to 91 under Carter. Under Bush 41, Assistant U.S. State's Attorney in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia in 1989. And in the Clinton administration, he was Deputy Assistant Attorney General in 1993 and Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General in 1994. So a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals. He has a long history in law, obviously, but he does go left.
He does. I looked under FindLaw, findlaw.com, I think it is, and so he's got several. He was on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals.
Right. Which if you know anything about that,
right.
is about the most left-leaning and corrupt possible court ever.
Right. According to FindLaw, there are 6 cases, 6 opinions that sort of stand out. One is with Guantanamo detainees, and he ruled that the federal courts could not hear habeas corpus petitions. So sort of sided on the side of the Guantanamo. With regard to drone strikes, ACLU versus the CIA. And here, I'm glad, I like how he ruled here. Wow. He ruled that the CIA must acknowledge that they actually do have records of drone strikes, and that they can't pretend that those don't exist. Enemy combatants, he ruled that you can't hold them as enemy combatants unless you have strong evidence that they are as such. He does side very much so with environmental activists.
Right, I've seen that as well.
He sided with Sierra Club versus the EPA. With campaign finance, very liberal there. He sides with banning certain donations from federal contractors. It would have been Obama's hope, because you know Obama hated the Citizens United.
Right.
And so I think that was probably, I mean, Obama hates that, hates it. So I think it was Obama's hope that Garland would have overturned should something come up, the Citizens United, which allows corporations to donate to citizens. And then the Second Amendment, one of the big ones, it would have been the hope that he would have been perhaps somebody on the Supreme Court that would have ruled against Second Amendment because he was willing to review and take up a court case which would have gone against the Heller opinion, which the Heller opinion is what acknowledged everyone has the right to firearms by the Second Amendment. And so that may play very much into being the Attorney General.
Big gun grab, that'll be delightful. In Senate Judiciary Committee confirmation hearings, Garland vowed to oversee vigorous prosecution of those who stormed the United States Capitol, stormed insurrection, and other domestic terrorists, drawing on his experience prosecuting the perpetrators of the Oklahoma City bombing. And Garland said it was likely that the Biden administration would place a moratorium on the use of federal death penalty, federal death penalty, and express reservations about the death penalty in light of almost randomness or arbitrariness of its application. This gentleman is worth a lot of money too. Financial disclosure forms in 2016 said that Garland's net worth at the time in 2016 was between $6 million and $23 million, which is not bad for a guy who's basically—
How do you make that much when you're in public service?
He's only been in private practice for like 8 or 9 years.
That is some really good investment.
Yeah, I just don't know how you do that.
Maybe he bought Bitcoin when it was $50.
It could be.
One of the things I'm very, very concerned about with Merrick Garland as an Attorney General is the aspect of enforcing hate crime. Right. And he appears to be someone who buys into that whole concept completely. You know, for those of us that really focus on the Constitution and basic principles, really there's no such thing as a hate crime. If you kill someone, you kill someone. It doesn't matter if it's because they wore a red hat or because they have a certain skin color. The person is dead. But he's big. He's big into hate crime, and he wants to take a look at things. He wants to see how it is, the enforcement is coming along, how it's strategized. He wants to dig deep into this and really—
That's troubling.
It's very troubling.
And you know, murder is already illegal. It's not like you could make it more illegal.
Right. He wants to track things, and this is something we even saw in the North Dakota legislature during this session, be tracking things and trying to determine, is it a hate crime? Did this occur because of someone's religion or skin color, whatever it might be? Extremely concerning to me, because that's something that I'm—
He's also one of those purveyors. If you have watched our program at all, you have seen us talk about Biden's executive orders and about systemic racism. Well, this is a guy— I know.
That's another thing.
I know. He's really big into systemic racism, so look out.
There's no such thing.
I know.
Hey, Merrick. Hey, Merrick.
Guess what?
There's no such thing.
Give you a little pro tip here.
In our country today of systemic racism. Doesn't exist. You're making it up. You're looking for fairies where they don't exist.
Yeah, this is not good. I know that he did go through the questioning by the senators, but I think that most every question had probably already been answered by the time that happened, because Merrick Garland has been through, you know, all of the questions previously with all of the other stuff that he's done, I think. So,
he has. He has. So. But, you know, and what's interesting is looking at the questioning that occurred during the hearing for the AG with systemic racism. It's very clear that he's struggling to say that what it is and whether it exists. And did it exist during this time that you've been in federal government this whole time? Well, what does it mean? He can't answer, and that's because no one can answer. Yep. It's this special platitude term that people use. But
keep your eye on this guy, Merrick Garland, Attorney General for the Biden administration.
Political operative for Joseph Robinette.
When we come back, we will have the Assistant Majority Leader with us in just a moment.
What?
Stay with us.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work. Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Arrow Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Arrow Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Arrow Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
Hey, it's No Apologies on Beck. We are back, and we've got Representative Scott Louser from Minot, somewhere like District 5-ish.
Oh, it's been 5 the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you getting tired of that?
I don't know, when we redistrict, who knows? So that might change.
I see. You can come down to 7. I'm sure I'll be kicked out. You'll probably be in charge of that. All right, folks. So Scott is the majority assistant leader, and we, for God knows why, but we keep having him back on the show.
You know, I'm doing Oppo research. I'm considering having my own show.
Are you?
Oh, great.
So I'm learning what to do.
Good idea.
More importantly, what not to do.
Are you going to go at the 9 o'clock slot? Maybe.
If it's open.
You got some competition there and smack talking.
All right. So you're on tonight. I'd like you to talk about something that I find interesting. And I found it interesting during the campaign. We'll get into that. It has to do with the land board. It has to do with the governor. And apparently there's some interest in shaking things up a little bit. So for our viewers, can you tell them a little bit about the land board and what's happening?
Well, the land board is a 5-member board, really in charge of the $6 billion worth of assets that we have.
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B. And that consists of the governor, the attorney general, secretary of state, the department of superintendent of public instruction, and the treasurer. And it's a constitutionally mandated board. Really in place since statehood.
Wow.
And hasn't really been changed for 103 years. Mm-hmm. This session we saw a resolution in the House and one in the Senate at the same time to add the Ag Commissioner to the land board. The House version was to replace the treasurer, and that got defeated. We amended it and it was defeated on the floor. The Senate version that passed the Senate that came over to our committee in the House adds the Ag Commissioner and makes it a 6-member board, but that's a constitutional amendment. So the voters would have to vote on that, not just us.
Right.
What's the impetus? Why add the Agriculture Commissioner?
Interesting, we're trying to figure that out. And what we learned was the land board does auctions for leases. And they go to auction twice a year, typically. There was an executive order issued in April of 2020 to move those auctions online. And there were a lot of people that didn't quite grasp what was happening, mostly out west, and were upset that they didn't have their bids accepted, or they didn't win, their bid wasn't accepted, and maybe lost their opportunity to lease land they were already leasing. So the concern was, well, let's put the Ag Commissioner on that board so that we have a voice. Now, the Ag Commissioner testified that that industry, the farming and ranching, brings in about $17 million every biennium to the Common Schools Trust Fund. But the energy industry brings in about $1 billion. And so we're looking at this is this appropriate to have an advocate that is advocating for farming and ranching while serving on a board that is advocating the maximum return on leases? Should that be the position on the board? And we formed a subcommittee because there's maybe many other interest groups that'd like to be on that board. Or do we have the right makeup as it is now?
Well, the one thing that you need to think about is just the sheer number. When you have 6, you have 3 and 3 very easily, and you're going to have gridlock, which is not always a bad thing, mind you. But the big difference would be, of course, the number. You're not going to as easily get your majority that way.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because the 3 could be the current Industrial Commission.
That's what I was just going to bring up.
That's right.
So half of the land board could be the Industrial Commission.
The full Industrial Commission could be half of the land board. So we met as a subcommittee today to look into studying this because we're concerned, are there conflicts not just with the Ag Commissioner's position, but are there conflicts with half the land board being the Industrial Commission?
Right.
The Industrial Commission's not a constitutionally mandated commission. So I'm feeling like if we're going to put something on the ballot for the voters to vote on through the legislature, we better be pretty sure it's the right thing to do.
Right.
And we don't have those answers yet.
A lot of explaining to do, too, to the public.
So my take on how things have been the last few years is this, and I tend to put things in simple, overly simplified terms, but they tend to be
understandable.
Correct, yeah. You've got the 5 people. You've got the AG, Secretary of State. Secretary of State has been the wingman for the AG on the land board. You've got the governor and DPI, Superintendent of Public Schools. DPI has been the wingman for the governor. And then you have the treasurer. The treasurer was the deciding vote, basically, when those two were at odds. Previously, at least the treasurer was conservative and would generally go along with what I would say is probably the proper course. The governor got involved in the primary to completely grab hold of the new treasurer's race. And I'm not saying at all that the new treasurer, Thomas Beadle, is going to be in the pocket of the governor, but I am going to say that the governor had an impact on the outcome of the race, certainly dumped a bunch of money into the race and supported Thomas Beadle. So in theory, if the governor believes that now he has Thomas Beadle in his pocket like he does Kirsten Baszler with DPI, now he has currently control of the land board. So do you have any idea at all? I would think he'd be against the Agriculture Commissioner because then he no longer has full control.
I don't know. I haven't talked to the governor's office. I don't think it would even be appropriate to find out. Now, I can tell you that the commissioner came in and testified against this, but the commissioner also named other interest groups that might want to serve the Indian Affairs Commission because of the leases that we have on tribal lands, the oil one.
The commissioner of what?
The land board.
The commissioner of the land board?
Yeah, came and spoke.
Who's that?
On behalf, Jody Smith came and spoke on behalf of the board. That's her job. That's what she does.
Okay.
And gave a number of reasons why we should look at this, including now all of Article 9 of the Constitution, which has 13 sections. And one of the issues that came up in one of the bills that we heard was the ability to lease land for beyond 5 years. The Constitution says no more than 5 years. We had a bill before us that would ask to lease land for beyond 5 years. Maybe that's a good idea, but we can't do it if the Constitution says we can't.
Right.
And so there was a lot brought forward to say what works in other states. We've got the Ag Commissioner on the land board in Oklahoma, and the Secretary of State testified that they've had problems in Oklahoma with that conflict of interest. There's just so many moving parts that none of us are really certain that we're ready to put this on the ballot because we haven't vetted it.
Who brought this forward?
Well, it was brought forward as a resolution in the House and the Senate. So there was a sponsor on each side, Representative Schmidt in the House and Senator Scheibele in the Senate. And of course, the one in the House didn't pass.
Right.
But now we're facing the same thing in the House from the Senate.
Right.
And I think it's appropriate to find out what is the best course of action when you're looking at a land board that manages the assets that total over $6 billion.
Right. That's a big portfolio.
And maybe this is the right person for that job, but we haven't evaluated really the why behind this.
It seems odd to me. You know, we have a situation with COVID and an online auction. And so we're going to change the Constitution that's been in place for 100 years because of a temporary situation.
Right.
Correct, and that's
a great point.
That executive order has been rescinded, and they are out in the field doing live auctions now. So
it doesn't even apply any longer.
It doesn't apply, right? And it was an executive order that mandated those online auctions. So one of the questions was in subcommittee today: have there been problems prior to are there communication problems? Yeah. And what we're learning is no. And very few people attend these land board meetings. I'm committed to going now. I'm going to start attending. In fact, if this gets picked as a study, and I'm on the committee or chairing the committee in the interim, I'm going to try to schedule one of our committee meetings around the land board meeting and force legislators to go attend this thing to see what's going on.
That's a good idea.
Plan.
Good idea. All right, hold that thought. We're gonna come back with Scott, talk just a little bit more about land board, and then we're gonna delve into some other stuff like nullification. And Scott has to chime in regardless of whether he wants to or not.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues. Thank you for your patience and understanding.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that the most condescending, rude email you've ever received?
Well, welcome to
National
the
news.
third term of a certain president. I really believe that.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature Heroes, with the region's only Hero meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Welcome back. It's No Apologies on Beck, your after-hours oasis of sanity. I'm your host, Rick Becker. Our co-host, Lori Hintz, is in the red, and our esteemed special guest
Assistant Majority Leader Scott Louser from Minot
is in the blue tie, making me look underdressed.
Air quotes.
All right. So we're talking about something. I think this is one of those things that generally would fly under the radar, but I find it fascinating. And I'm just thinking back again about whether is this a power play? Are other people thinking about, is the governor having a lot of power, or is this truly just about this temporary situation with the online auction? Getting the agriculture.
Tell us a little bit about the land board meetings too.
Yeah,
well, I don't know. I wanted to attend one myself, and I found when I was going to try to attend the meeting, it was online. They were doing it over Microsoft Teams.
Interesting.
And I think it would be much better to be in the room, not just to see the land board and the makeup and the dynamic, but to see who else is in the room. And I think because of this subcommittee and the study, what we're going to find is a challenge to the farm groups, the landowner groups, the ag commissioner to actually go to the meetings.
Right.
And if they're advocating for a constitutional amendment, I would expect them to be at the meetings.
Sure.
Does he give input now? Does he attend and have a voice at the meetings now? The agriculture commissioner?
The agriculture commissioner has a voice going through the land, not at the land board on the meetings, on the board, but just like anybody else through the Department of Trust Lands office. And by the way, we had some great testimony on experts. We've got people working at the Department of Trust Lands. You have to have master's degrees to apply for jobs. We've got people that are geniuses over there. None of us can understand that job description, that provide the information to the land board. So they're a governing board. They're not the experts. It's the employees that we hire that work for the state that are really good.
What kind of a master's degree do you have to have?
It's not business, I know that. We're dealing with minerals and water and hydraulics, and there's a lot of things that people are doing that I don't understand.
Interesting. I'm intrigued.
It's very interesting.
I think you should serve on the committee in the interim to be a part of this stuff.
I think what they should do is change the Constitution. Instead of agriculture commissioner, it should be a friend who lives in Bismarck of the assistant majority leader. And
funny you bring that up, because our version was to put a legislator on, and since I don't have many friends in Bismarck, you might have been.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Considered.
That failed miserably, by the way.
Oh, too funny. Should we switch gears a little bit and talk about something else?
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch gears.
Well, we have a couple of different bills. First of all, are we going to talk about vaccine passports?
Yeah, I think so. There's this situation, and we've talked about vaccines and what's going on in the country, in the state, quite a bit, ad nauseum.
Yeah,
and there is a lot of news coming out that we are looking at a vaccine passport. What we mean by that is to be able to go about and do your business.
To go to a sports event, to be able to fly, to be able to move about the country at all, you would have to have this specific vaccine. And they're scaring everybody. Everybody's that I know is very, very upset about the possibility of having to, papers.
So here we've got NBC News, and not only, this freaks me out a little bit because they're not saying vaccine passports, will they be a thing? They're saying, will they be in time for summer?
Will they come? Right, it's not preconceived.
Blows me away. There's another one. Here's New York Post. And they're showing it's kind of like a QR code, having a passport, and that it's coming to New York.
What could possibly go wrong? I mean, seriously, what could possibly go wrong?
Right.
My mind goes to things like black market passports and things for people who do not want to be, because I'm thinking, how do I get around that?
Scott, what do you think? Passports?
Well, I hear passport, I'm thinking leaving the country, the ability to fly. But as we're talking, the commissioner of the NFL came out today and said, we expect full attendance and full stadiums at NFL games next year. Does that mean that in order to get in, you have to scan your passport to get into a football game?
Right.
Is that what this means? Sounds like it does.
It could. I would expect that that would be the case, and that is such a huge step if this occurs, because now it is papers, please. Because sure, it's the vaccine this time, but then what goes on after that? Not only is it the vaccine, we already know that there are boosters coming. We've talked about that, but then beyond that, what goes into the passport in which you're allowed the privileges that the government allows you to have? It's a frightening
Are they
thing.
going to require you to show your photo ID like when you should vote?
Right, great question. That is a great question.
What a racist question.
No, he's spot on. He's exactly right.
So here's the thing. There may very well be legislation coming in the form of a delayed bill with regard to dealing with vaccine passports. However, as much as I support that, and I do 100%, I'm wondering if it's actually completely necessary, because amazingly, your legislature has done a couple of awesome things. And pull up House Bill 1164. So there are a couple of bills that have passed. And this one, 1164, I lifted the text here, notwithstanding any other provision of law, the state, a political subdivision, or any other publicly funded organization may not implement an executive order that, if by majority vote, the legislative management determines the executive order restricts a person's rights, et cetera, et cetera. So what they're looking at is this aspect of being able to nullify. And in this particular circumstance, it's already, I believe this one has passed both in the House. It's now modified, passed in the Senate. It's going to come to the House. We're going to hopefully have, I hope that the House just goes along, because I think it's a good, the Senate is doing a couple of amazing things. I'm just blown away.
Fantastic.
But if this comes into play, we may not even need to worry about it, because this would then account for this overstepping of the federal government into our lives if they indeed mandate a federal vaccine passport. Let's go to the next one.
Good thinking ahead.
House Bill 1282. So this one passed the House. It got a 6-1 vote in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Again, you could knock me over with a feather. I don't know what's going on. This one, so this is in green. It's an amendment that the Senate put on, but just as a representative portion of the bill, when making a recommendation, the committee shall consider whether the federal statute, regulation, or executive order is outside the scope of powers delegated to the federal government by the United States Constitution. Let that soak in. That's amazing. And I just want, bravo to the Senate, bravo to the Senate Judiciary, bravo to Senator Diane Larson.
Yep.
I think it's phenomenal. This is huge. And I was talking to a reporter today on an unrelated topic. Where we're going with this is, it cannot be overstated. The importance of the states taking back their power, taking back their sovereignty, respecting the 10th Amendment, recognizing that the federal government often oversteps, and that we don't just tolerate it, but we say, hold on a second. Amazing. Amazing.
This is not necessarily the Senate committee or the House speaking. This is North Dakota speaking.
Right.
This is coming into the session. This was a clear message sent to us to deal with these types of things. Yes. This is all of North Dakota speaking. This isn't just a committee or a chamber.
You're right. You are absolutely right. And the kudos to the Senate and the committee should probably be focused more on thank you for hearing your constituents than it is anything.
Yep.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how excited I am. There are a lot of things I'm not super pumped about in the legislature, like record budget and so forth.
We did talk about nullification on this program some time ago, but it was like a couple months ago.
This last bill that we heard was destined to failure in the House until it got amended out and it became something really workable. Good. So I mean, it's phenomenal.
It is. It's fantastic.
We will be one of just a very few states that will have successfully passed something like this, and it's critical.
And you had talked about concurring with the Senate on an amendment. We just started doing that yesterday on the floor of the House. So we're going to see some of those things coming up again, and hopefully the chairman of those committees just say, yes, we concur, get it back on a vote and be done with it.
Yep. Oh boy, it's the sausage making at this point in time, I find fascinating because there's such little tiny changes, tweaks, and it makes the difference entirely on whether something is passed or whether it's failed and you thought it was going to pass, and it's like, what happened? It died, and
Just the opposite.
this is the fun part.
It is. So it's all good. Well, thank you, both of y'all, for
Scott,
doing
thanks
this.
for being on. I'm not sure why our viewers enjoy watching you, but we hear that they do.
Nobody has said that they do.
They have, to me, my wife. Okay, folks, thanks for joining us. We're going to be back with some brain food. Stick with us.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Watch No Filter with me, Debbie Schlussel, for no-nonsense, unfiltered analysis of the news that matters to you. You'll see engaging guests,
It began a 444-day nightmare.
entertaining analysis, and it has everything to do with something that happened in history, and honest movie reviews. Trust me, this is just atrocious. No Filter with Debbie, weeknights at 10 p.m. Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Brain food.
It makes me happy to see that. I'm not
Does
gonna
it?
lie. It does.
Me
I'm like,
too, a
oh, we've
little
got
bit.
cool graphics.
I'm not gonna lie.
I like it, and then I don't have to do weird stuff with my hands or anything. Woo, living large. Okay, so we're starting with a brain food today that is a word, and my first word actually was a word that was used in a Facebook post by my friend, chairman of the Republican Party of the state of Texas, Alan West. And if you have not followed Alan West on Facebook, follow the dude. It's just fantastic. He used the word castigated. So I'm using the base word, which is a verb, which is castigate, and the definition of this transitive verb is to subject to severe punishment, reproof, or criticism. A sentence would be, for instance, the judge castigated the lawyers for their lack of preparation. The author castigated the prime minister as an ineffective leader. She castigated him for his constant tardiness. Sentences and synonyms. Bawl out somebody, you castigate them. Chastise, chew out, dress down, flay. You hammer somebody, you lambaste them, I've heard lambast and lambaste both. Rant, you ream out, rebuke, reprimand, reproach, scold, tongue lash, or upbraid. castigate.
Tongue lash, interesting. Sometimes I've got friends that raise cattle, and I go out, and sometimes we'll castigate some calves.
Too late. You know, no dad jokes allowed on this show.
Okay.
Okay.
Next. Boo.
I saw that coming like a
Boo.
mile away.
Okay, next, sundog. Let's show the pic. Let's show the pic. So this picture is actually in Fargo, North Dakota. You're familiar with the city?
I am.
Are you?
I love sundogs.
All right.
I've seen many of them.
So for this picture, you have to understand reflection and refraction.
Agreed.
So refraction is bending the light, and it divides the light into kind of that prism effect of Roy G. Biv, right?
Correct.
So when you're looking at the rainbow, you're thinking red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
Yep.
Okay. Now, there are so many things in this picture. I'm going to have the guys pop it up one more time. I know it doesn't seem like it's worth it. Trust me.
It's fantastic.
Okay, so the big light in the center is the sun. That is the thing around which the Earth rotates, or revolves, rather. No, rotates? No, revolves. It revolves. And, well, it rotates and revolves. So the two lights on the sides, those are sundogs. Now, the sundogs are there because of refraction.
Right.
Now that's why if you look closely, you see that the Roy G. Biv, the red, orange, yellow, is playing out there, and it goes to the indigo violet, although you can't see it so well, and it's always from the sun outward in Roy G. Biv.
Correct.
It goes at about a 22-degree circle or halo around the sun. Now you see this one, the reason it's good is because you've got the sundogs, but you also have a halo effect that extend upward from the two sundogs. You can have a halo effect, a lot of times a full moon at night that has some clouds in front of it. You'll have a halo around. That is also refraction, because sometimes if you're lucky, you'll see the separation of the light in the Roy G. Biv, the color scheme, even with moonlight, which is crazy. Okay, now, oh boys, you brought it. Yeah, I know. I don't like it when I have graphics up too long, but you bring that one up again.
He's still describing. Okay.
So this one has, so you see the halo effect. You have the sundogs, right?
Going out
now
to
you
the
have
side.
a pillar. A pillar is coming right up above the sun. A lot of times you'll see it when the sun is setting. There's a streak that goes right up. That is not refraction, that is reflection. And oh, by the way, I didn't mention, what is the refraction and the reflection through? Well, it's generally, especially in North Dakota, ice crystals.
Right.
Same with the full moon at night with the halo. It's ice crystals, or it's vapor in the air because it has to go through water droplets, ice crystals. But the pillar extending upward from the sun is a reflection. It's not a refraction, and so you're not going to see the breaking out of the colors of the rainbow in a pillar.
Love
That's it.
that.
That was a long one.
That was so good,
That was a long
though.
one.
What I love about this is that people who are not from North Dakota who move here are just shocked when they see all the cool things like hoarfrost on the trees where it looks like it's flocked. They've never seen that. Or that really fantastic sparkly snow that we have sometimes where it just looks like diamonds everywhere, and sundogs.
Or when your lungs burn because you breathed. Right.
There's that too. All right, my next word is abscond, and this is a word I tend to use frequently. It is another verb. It means to depart secretly and hide oneself. He absconded with the stolen money. The suspect absconded to Canada. Several prisoners absconded from the jail. This song, I just love this song. It reminds me of the Steve Miller Band song, Take the Money and Run. They absconded. They couldn't really put abscond in that song. It just wouldn't be the same, but that's what that's all about.
Abscond the money and run.
Take the money and run.
Okay, next, my last bit of brain food. Jack Johnson. Now, Jack Johnson is also a blues artist that I really, really like. But this,
different one.
This Jack Johnson is a boxer. He was born on this day in 1878. Now, I'm going to bring this story around to President Trump.
Okay.
You have no idea, do you?
I have no idea how you're going to make that connection.
So, he was a very successful boxer, the first black heavyweight boxing champion. Okay? He had a friend, a special friend who was a prostitute, a white woman, and he went with his special friend across state lines. And he eventually married this white woman. However, he was prosecuted under something called the Mann Act, M-A-N-N. And that one was against white slavery, ironically.
That is ironic.
But you couldn't take a woman across state lines for immoral purposes, specifically prostitution, but not just that. The Mann Act was used against people traveling across state lines who had sex and weren't married. It was kind of abused, this act. Anyway, he served time in prison.
Wow.
Yeah,
for
he
just
served time
taking
in
a
prison.
woman across state
A
lines.
woman he married.
Whom he married.
Yes.
Wow. And this goes to Trump how? Here it comes.
That evil, racist orange man pardoned this black man who brought a white woman across the state lines. He pardoned him in 2018.
Yep,
President
I did
Trump,
hear that.
you racist.
Very, very cool.
Racist.
I like that. So when we come back, we are going to go over another of Biden's executive orders. I have no idea what number this is anymore. I completely lost count, but we'll tell you when we come back. I'll look it up.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Big shout out to North Dakota and Beck News, where you can watch the Dr. Duke Show each weekday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time.
North Dakota is one of the last bastions of sanity in our republic. The legislature consistently passes pro-life and family legislation. This session, North Dakota legislature is trying to thwart efforts to allow boys to say they are girls and play on girls' sports teams. Go North Dakota.
And thanks for carrying the Dr. Duke Show on Beck TV.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hey, you're back. It's No Apologies on Beck. It's segment 5. You've made it. You're almost done. Congratulations once again. That was fun with Scott Louser.
Yeah, he's funny. You rib him a lot, give him a little hard time. Yeah. I think you only do that to people that you kind of like, though. Shh, don't tell him.
That I feel comfortable with.
Oh, maybe that's it.
I don't know. Whatever. I do. You should hear me talk with my high school friends, my college friends.
I bet that's fun.
You would assume that we actually hated each other.
That's a boy thing, though. Boys always do that.
That's
I mean, guys that I know, they rib each other in such mean ways.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Girls, we just do it on, behind people's backs. It's horrible.
I know what it is.
You guys do it right straight to the face.
It's a thing where we want to display some type of affection, but we feel we can't. And so by doing the opposite, we somehow relay to the person
that you have
our affection
for them. Yep.
without Yes.
I concur. I think you're right. Okay, so we are on.
We've
I
solved
looked
that.
it up. Yeah, we
Well,
got
let's
that
just
all
go home.
totally taken care of. Okay. 49 is the executive order that we are on. Resettle refugees and climate change migration. Let's take a look at it on the screen. Oh, in all of its glory. Executive order on rebuilding and enhancing programs to resettle refugees and planning for the impact of climate change on migration. Now, I'm going to stop there just for a moment because I don't think those two things have anything to do with each other. So
it makes me want to scream.
I know.
It really makes me want to scream.
Anyway, through the
impact
United,
of
you go
climate
ahead.
change. Oh, sure. Through the United States Refugee Administration's program, USRAP.
Right.
Should I say USRAP?
You should say USRAP.
USRAP.
I like it.
The federal government, cooperating with private partners and American citizens and communities across the country, demonstrates the generosity and core values of our nation while benefiting from the many contributions that refugees make to our country.
I'm sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Can I say something?
It's really tight.
I have big issues with how the federal government is handling things. But I just want to say for the record, because it's really hard, you know, you get pegged for being anti, for being racist, for hating everyone. Yep. And it's hard to discuss the issues I have with our policies regarding refugees. But I have met many. And
as do I.
I have not come across anyone that I would not very much enjoy calling a friend or hiring to be an employee or any of that. So this is, it's hard to convey the sincerity with which I feel that.
It's frustrating.
I have patients coming, and I had one in the last week or two. And when they come in, I'm like, haven't you heard how racist I am? Haven't you heard about how I hate people that look like you? But yet, I'm just fascinated by their stories, and I think that it makes me think about how lucky we are here.
Agreed.
And these folks they understand and respect freedom more than anyone who has been.
Well, those of us who have been here who take it totally for granted.
We completely take it for granted. Nevertheless, it doesn't change the fact that crappy federal policy is crappy federal policy. It doesn't matter the other stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, this USRAP thing should be rebuilt and expanded commensurate with the global need and the purposes described. They want to revamp most everything in all of these Biden orders. Everything that you see needs to be redone and remade. Let's take a look at another graphic here and see this next one here too. And other humanitarian programs shall be administered in a manner that furthers our values as a nation. And I can't tell you how far the values of the administration are from those of me and the rest of the nation, but they're not the same values. And why? How about defining that a little bit here too? I mean, that could be all sorts of things.
Right. It doesn't. Again, that is a platitude, because everyone, you'll say, of course, our values are compassion, et cetera, et cetera. The thing is that you cannot take everyone in.
Exactly.
That would be better off if they were here.
Right.
They need to be properly vetted. They need to actually have a reason to come to this country. There are a lot of people, for instance, in the Middle East that are not looking specifically to come to America. They just want to get out of their horrible, crappy, war-torn situation.
Great plan.
There are other opportunities. Right. The United States cannot be, we literally cannot take in everyone that wants to get out of their crappy situation. The best thing we can do via capitalism is to promote that way of life that has already lifted so many people out of poverty. We can't take everyone here, especially not in our society in which we have essentially a welfare society. It's impossible. Exactly. It's easy to say it. It's very easy to say it. You just can't do it.
Right. Yeah. All right, take a look at another slide. Thank you, guys. USRAP should be rebuilt and expanded commensurate with global need. Once again, we are globalizing things that they're talking about with our country. And to me, you just said it a moment ago, we can't take everybody. We'd love to, but we'd love to help y'all, but just physically we can't.
All of this, again, is the purpose of it is to divide us, because people who are not in favor are racist. It's all division. Yeah. We can't expand it. We literally cannot do what they say they want to do to address the global needs. It's literally impossible. Let's hit the next graphic. We've got a few.
Executive Order 13815, resuming the United States Refugee Admissions Program with enhanced vetting capabilities, and Executive Order 13888, enhancing state and local involvement in refugee resettlement, are revoked. So this is Orange Men Bad.
Yeah. So, and I want to go, let's look at those. 13815, that is revoked now. What it did was strengthened the vetting process, particularly for applicants from terrorist harboring countries like Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Mali, North Korea, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. I mean, that's a strong vetting process from countries that are known to harbor so many people who hate the American way of life. That would be the right thing to do. The next one that's revoked, it allowed state and local governments to have a say in whether and how many immigrants are going to be placed.
We had that exactly
again, it's
in Burleigh
federal
County.
versus state. Of course you should have a say.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I remember when those came down and how overjoyed I was that the say was finally going to the local municipalities.
Well, that's just the way
it ought. That was a great idea. But of course, Biden's executive orders are just purposely dismantling. If they don't necessarily have a purported goal as much as just dismantling what was previously put in place, which they thought was bad.
Yeah.
So.
Next graphic, please. All right, the memorandum of 2017. Essentially, again, this is just undoing all of the common sense strategies that Trump had implemented. That is revoked. Go to the next graphic. Here's where we are going to get into climate change. Here's where we get nutty.
So weird.
Nutty nut bar.
Makes no sense. The Secretary of State and the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall deliver a plan to the President to enhance the capacity of USRAP to welcome refugees by expanding the use of community sponsorship and co-sponsorship models by refugee resettlement agencies and by entering into new public-private partnerships. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Whenever you have that, you know you're going to have trouble.
And hit the next one, and we'll talk about all this climate change crap.
Is it coming up?
Shall prepare and submit to the President a report on climate change, its impact on migration, forced migration, internal displacement, planned relocation. I tell you what, these guys are nuts. What they want is every excuse in the book to say we are going to redistribute your money, taxpayers of America. Give it out throughout the globe. Yep. We're going to talk about climate change. We're going to talk about equity. These guys are nuts. Every executive order, they should be put into a straitjacket.
All right. Join us next time. It's frustrating. We will host an Emmons County Commissioner, and we are going to tell you a little bit about a guy called the Great One. So join us next time.
And next on Beck is No Filter with Debbie.